Hey everybody, Dr. Shook here. I hope we don't lose signal a lot today. I'm in the sauna and occasionally the signal does get weak. But today I want to talk to you guys about something. While I'm just in the sauna, I'm actually increasing my body temperature and I'm warming up prior to my workout. And I'll be in here for about 10 minutes. So we're going to fit everything into about a 10-minute period here. But what I want to talk to you guys about is really the first place that everyone should start, which is with a dietary approach to their health. And I want to talk to you guys about diets that are going to be more appropriate for autoimmune conditions. And in particular, we're talking about Hashimoto's, which is what I work with most commonly, and also Graves' disease, but really any autoimmune condition. So I'm going to talk to you guys about diets that are appropriate for autoimmune conditions. And actually the diets and the things that I'm going to be discussing with you are going to be appropriate for someone that's struggling with blood sugar dysregulation, if they have like type 2 diabetes, if they are insulin resistant. It's going to be appropriate for people that have gut dysfunction. It's going to be appropriate for people that are struggling with inflammation, right? So just as far as the dietary component goes, it's a very, very important piece of your overall health puzzle. Okay, guys? So there's a lot of questions about what is the best diet. What's the best diet for, X condition or to improve my autoimmunity? Okay, and here's the reality, guys. There's no best diet for one person. Okay, there's no best diet for. I'm going to turn this down just a little bit. There's no best diet for. That should do it. There's no best diet for one person, guys. What you're going to find is that if we look at people genetically, okay, and we look at where you originate from around the world, if your ancestors came primarily from the equator or closer to the equator, your body's probably going to be better adapted at consuming and digesting carbohydrates. You're going to have, there's different enzymes in the body that break down different types of nutrients, right? So we've got amylases, and the ACE, amylase gives away that what I'm talking about is an enzyme. Amylases that break down carbohydrates, lipases that break down your fats. Okay, and you got protein enzymes. You've got all kinds of different enzymes for these different sugars and proteins and fats. Well, depending on where you come from and where your ancestors come from, you're going to have a different capacity to your body's going to be better adapted at different diets. So is there a diet that's best for anyone, for everyone? No, definitely not. So we're going to talk about a few different aspects of importance here, right? Of factors that come into play in determining what's the best diet for you. So if your ancestors are closer to the equator, then your body's going to be better adapted, most likely, at digesting carbohydrates. If you're closer to the poles, like let's say you're Norwegian, well then I'm sorry, but carbohydrates are not going to be your friend. You're going to be probably more adapted to consuming fats and proteins. Okay, so those are things that are really important to consider. Now, that's one factor. Hey Reed, so that's one factor. The other factor is so you might not just need to be on like a high fat, high protein, low carb diet, right? I mean, that's not necessarily going to be the best for every single person, and so that's something you have to take into consideration, these uniquenesses. And the other thing to consider here is what are you reacting to? Like, so if you're autoimmune, a lot of people are reacting to food proteins that are in their diet. Okay, so their immune system is reacting to food proteins that are partially digested and that are leaking through their gut wall, they're like their small intestinal wall, into the bloodstream, triggering an immune response, promoting autoimmunity. Okay, so that's really important to understand. Like, what are you reacting to? So the ideal diet is going to be one that takes into consideration your genetic background, okay? It's also going to take into consideration what unique immune reactivity you currently have. Because we know that if someone's autoimmune, it's very likely that they are reacting to partially digested food proteins in their diet. It's really, really important to get those things out so that it's really important to get those things out of your diet so that you can calm down the immune system and start to dampen the autoimmune process. So if we're going to be, and there's some more factors that we could take into consideration. You want to look at everything that you can, but as a whole, people ask me like, what's the best diet? Well, I mean, I've said it so many times. I feel like a broken record, but I know some of you guys haven't heard this, so I'm going to share that with you. Autoimmune paleo tends to be a pretty good approach, but sometimes there needs to be some variation there, right? So as a framework, it tends to be pretty good. So you can, it's typically non-processed foods, which is a huge upgrade from most people's diets because they eat a lot of processed foods, okay? First of all, so there's no processed foods in paleo. And then it removes a lot of foods that we commonly find to be immune reactive, which is very good because then it can dampen the autoimmune process. The foods are high in nutrient density, which helps to improve biochemistry and biochemical processes. They're higher in insoluble fiber, which improves gut bacterial balance. A lot of things that just really help to upgrade your diet, quite frankly. Now, some people don't do well because maybe they need more carbohydrates. It's not a low carb diet. I mean, you can have lots of sweet potatoes and root vegetables and whatnot. So it's really not a low carb diet. Some people make it low carb because they don't really understand how to follow it. And so but it's not low carb. Now you can make it more low carb and higher fat, more ketogenic-esque or ketogenic if you wanted to. But there's some flexibility there that you can definitely adjust it based on the person and what their unique needs are. And there's a lot of different factors you have to consider, but that's a good framework. We created a program that helps people through that process as well. But as a framework, the AIP framework's pretty good. So that's a really important thing to consider, guys. Is what is right for me as an individual, and it's not just always, an autoimmune paleo or a ketogenic diet. Those, you really, as much as you can, you want to take into your unique needs. And if you're reacting to things immunologically, if your immune system's reacting to food proteins, you want to get those out of your diet. And anything you can do to help you figure out what's driving the autoimmune process is going to be extremely beneficial, because then you can take very specific actions to remove that from your diet, remove that from your environment. If you have chronic infections, kill them or dampen their activity if it's a virus. If you have, if there's environmental chemicals, remove them, detoxify them at the right time, not typically right away. And you can decrease this burden on the immune system, calm it down, and have the best chance at putting autoimmunity into remission or dampening it. Okay, but as far as dietary approaches go, a lot of people just, they want to know some place that they can start, and the diet is always where you start. So it doesn't matter if I work with someone in my office or if I do distance consulting with someone. What we do, I always look at their diet. There's always a dietary history that they fill out, and I always look at that and make changes if need be. And 90+% of the time, changes need to be made, at least to some degree. And then sometimes if someone's doing everything, like you're already doing, following my dietary program or another dietary program, and it looks pretty good, then guess what? You're kind of at this point where trial and error is over. Like, you don't have any more options. So what do you do? So then that's when you have to start saying, okay, let's get some quantitative testing to determine why I am not doing better. Right, and I mean so that's like sensitivity testing. Those are things where you're looking at the gut bacterial balance. Are there infections? Are there food reactivity? And you're actually getting numbers that give you information so you can make very specific decisions based on lab testing and not guessing. Right, because with the diet, to some degree, we know that it needs to be improved. We know that dietary changes are essential. So it's a good place to start. But at the same time, guys, there's almost only so much trial and error you can do. And we find people that when we do testing on them, they're eating like paleo diets, and there's like 30 or 40 foods that they're commonly eating that they're reacting to. And so it's really important to keep in mind, like, dietary approaches, diet change is essential, and it will help so many people. So many people. You might not be all the way better, but some people it's almost miraculous. And then other people won't do well because they need a different type of dietary approach, or their problem is not with the diet as much as it is with something else that's chronic that's going on. Infections, chemicals, maybe they're reacting to foods that they're eating on the like an autoimmune paleo type diet, and they don't even know it. And I mean, you would never know. You would never know unless you did testing. So guys, if you like what I'm sharing with you, please do share this video, because this is kind of a way, like what I've told you guys, if you caught any of my other live streams, if you guys share it, then I'm kind of looking at those shares and I'm saying, okay, this is a topic that they like to hear about, they want to know more about it, and I'm going to create more videos. So share it if you like it. If you don't, then I'm just going to make note. I'm kind of looking at the videos that we've created and that we're doing these live videos. And if we get more shares, then I'm going to talk more about this kind of stuff. And then your comments here, please do. I see some comments here. Guys, keep posting your comments with your questions. I might not be able to answer them right now because I do have to have to exercise, because I do have a schedule today, even though it's Saturday. But I do have to exercise here in a few minutes. But if I can't get to your questions, my staff or I will follow up with you guys. Okay? So I'm going to try to answer a few questions for a few minutes, but I seriously cannot be on here for a really long period of time today. I would love to answer more of your questions, but I just don't have time. And I'll give you, like, guys, and if you have questions, if there's something I can't answer, right, but you have something on your mind that you want to know more about, so here, if you're watching this live stream, then you like our page, which is the Office of Dr. Brad Shook. If you'll go to our Facebook page at the Office of Dr. Brad Shook, go to the videos tab, you can sort through, I don't know how many videos are there, but well over 100, I imagine. I've probably done sauna sessions and live videos, well over 200 or more videos. And you can search keywords and like look for specific topics, and you know, you might be able to find something there that really helps. Okay, so just want to let you guys know that in advance if I can't answer all your questions. So again, I just want to kind of summarize. Dietary approaches are critical. There's not a one-size-fits-all diet for anyone. If your ancestry is closer to the equator, you probably have your genetics probably allow you to consume more carbohydrates, and it'd be okay. You have enzymes to break them down properly. If your ancestry is closer, it's European or even, let's say, Norwegian, man, you're gonna be higher fat, higher protein, genetically adapted, and that's gonna be typically a diet that's better for you. You know, autoimmune paleo is a reasonable place to consider starting for a lot of people. We've created a program for Hashimoto's and autoimmune conditions, our transformation program. You've probably heard us talk about it, which is a great framework that we help you with. That's a great place to start. It's a very adaptable program. And then, so the dietary approach, that's important to consider. And then, if you're autoimmune, you need to be thinking about, if you're not doing, you know, very well on a diet, or you're not feeling a lot better, that there's probably another mechanism causing your symptoms. So maybe you're you're having an immune response to foods that you're consuming that are on the restricted diet. It's very common to see people reacting to all kinds of foods. I mean, we see people with testing reacting to lettuce proteins. You'd never know it, because it's not, reactions to foods doesn't mean that you're going to have a response that causes you to feel terrible, like you're not going to have swelling, like an anaphylactic response. That's a different type of immune response. We're talking about sensitivity, so like IgG, IgA, immune system reactivity, which you may not really be symptomatic. You may not notice it, or you may just not feel well. You need to find out if you're reacting to those things, especially if you're not doing well on a diet. And it really, if you want to save the most time and be as specific as possible, you get as much testing as you can up front so you can formulate a plan that's very specific to you. Okay, so I hope that makes sense. There's trial and error that you can do, but it takes time, and you do spend money going through trial and error. And if you want to know, like, and be really specific and get results faster, and actually you could even save money. I mean, I see people that spend routinely hundreds of dollars on supplementation, and that's when they come to see me. They're already taking all this stuff, and they spend hundreds of dollars on supplementation. And I'm like, wow, if you would have just seen me like a year ago, we'd have like $7,000 to do testing and everything that you need to do. But you spent like $7,000 over the past year. And I see people that spend exorbitant amounts of money, and they go to a health food store, or they get online and they just buy all kinds of random stuff that they're trying to use to help themselves. And I understand the desire to want to feel better. But man, you're going to waste so much money doing that random approach, whereas if you will invest some of your time and energy on testing, boy, you can be so much more specific, and you can take the supplementation that you need to support your body, whatever's going on, and heal it. And then the goal is to get off of all that stuff, so you're not taking supplements long term. Guys, you don't need to take supplements long term. Think about this. Supplementation is primarily, it's a man-made thing, right? It's an industry that's cropped up. So when you start looking at these things, you think, okay, Do I really need this? Is this really what I need, or is it just great marketing? That they're selling you something. Long term, the goal is to get your nutrition from your food. And there's all kinds of arguments, like our food's hollow or it's not nutrient dense, the minerals are depleted from the soils. I get that, and that's absolutely true. Hey, Anne-Marie, yeah, that caught my attention. She said, I spent $7,000 in doctor and ER visits. It's crazy. That's exactly right. I mean, people, guys, people, I work with people all over the country, all over the world. And I help people no matter where they are. We work with people that have had to go to food pantries to get their, to get food, just to get food, right? And I've seen those people do really well. And then I've worked with people that have, they're in the top, 1% of income in the entire world, and they just say, you know what, just do whatever you think needs to be done. Tell me all the testing I need, I'm going to go get it, and we're going to figure out what's going on, okay? And I've worked with both. But we always try to help people no matter where they are, and give them as many options as possible. But like Anne said here, Anne-Marie said she spent $7,000 in doctor's visits and ER visits. Guys, I see this kind of stuff all the time, and when you think about the cost of healthcare, if we do like every test that we can possibly do, like if and it's always different for every person. Let's say we do every test we can possibly do for someone. It's advanced diagnostic testing, work up the immune system, work up chemicals, work up nutrient deficiencies and organic acids, and work up infectious pathogens, and go through everything that we can do. Leaky gut barrier testing, you name it. Everything we can do, you could spend easy $8,000, even $10,000 probably, if you did everything, right? Everything, which is never, it's such a rare case that we would ever do that. But let's just say that, right? Well, consider how much it costs to go to the ER one time, guys. You're talking about, there's such a huge expense to all of healthcare. And a lot of times people are like, man, functional medicine is so expensive. I hear people say that, I can't afford you. And I'm like, well, I will help you no matter where you are. First of all, I will help you with diet. I will give you guys everything free I can right here so that you can go and help yourself. But the reality is medications aren't cheap. Loss of quality of life is not cheap. Loss of time that you can't get back is not cheap. Those things are priceless, really. And you start looking at some of this stuff and you're like, man, I work with 2 people a day. 2 people a day, guys. Real appointments per day. And people are people think, that it's expensive. Guys, your doctors that you go see that see 30 or 40 people in a day, if you were paying what their insurance is paying them, you would think differently about that experience, because they're billing a tremendous amount, but you're not paying directly out of your pocket, so you don't feel the same way. Functional medicine, because of the nature of it, it is something that the insurance companies are not reimbursing right now, and they should be, and I think they will be in the future to some degree anyway. But there's no money in it, guys. There's no testing. It reduces the need for everything, guys. Functional medicine reduces the need for everything. You hear me? It reduces the need for hospital admissions, for imaging studies, for laboratory testing. Because if you get healthier, there's no need for ongoing care of diabetes, right? Type 2 diabetes. Do you know how much money is in how much? And I'm going to talk about it this way because it's relevant to talk about the business and the economics of it. A diabetic patient could spend $500,000, and guess where that comes from? Insurance. That's big business for a hospital. So if someone like me comes in and they're like, okay, how much money do you need? Let's do $10,000 and do everything we can do for the person. Then let's even buy some of their food. Let's buy their food, and we do it, and the person gets significantly better, and we've spent, let's say, $20,000, but now that person no longer has a need for any of those services. How much money has been lost? Think about that. Think about that for a second. Think about that. Think about how much money is lost in medications that would have been purchased, in hospital visits, in imaging studies, in lab studies. And I'm not saying it's not a conspiracy, guys. It's just a system that has been put in place to try to deal with the crises, that all these problems that are popping up that we have, and the system only wants to pay for things in the short term that it has to pay for. So this stuff is considered elective, right? Because they're trying to just deal with emergencies. But the problem is that because we're neglecting to really help people, there's a ton of emergencies, and so many emergencies that it's bankrupting the system, right? So I'm digressing seriously about diet. We were talking about diet. So sorry about all that. Yeah. Miriam, isn't capitalism great? Yeah, it's crazy. It's crazy, but I don't know the answer. That's why all I can do is like tell you guys, you've got to be your own advocate. You got to educate yourself. You got to take your health back. You got to try to be better partners with your doctors. You've got to help yourself. You've got to actively be working on you every day. You got to be thinking, is the food that I'm putting in my mouth taking me towards health or away from health? Every single day. You've got to push away these ideas that it's going to be awkward socially, that it's going to be a problem. Guys, you either have your health or you don't have your health. And if you don't have your health, then you don't have an opportunity to go to social events. So, you know what? We pack food. My kids eat very differently than a lot of other children do. They don't have food colorings. We don't eat pre-processed foods. We make our food, and my kids take all kinds of stuff. So yeah, I understand. I do too. I mean, I pack my lunches. People look at you kind of funny, but really, sometimes they do. But you know what? I'm actually really, proud of the fact that I approach health the way that I do. And I feel good about the fact that I'm doing something to help myself, and I'm being an example, right? And so there's a lot of people suffering out there. So a lot of those people looking at your food probably feel terrible, and it's a great way to open up a conversation. So you got to be your own advocates, guys, because it is once your problems become so advanced, the longer that your problems go on, the harder it is to unwind them. Right? Guys, it's huge. I mean, it's huge. So you've got to be your own advocate. Thank you for the hearts and the thumbs, guys. Appreciate that. So, hi, Jane. Jane says I talk so much sense. I don't know. I try, but it's just, it's what I try to do is just really sit down with you guys. This is how I talk to people that I work with too. I mean, we just talk about the issues that they're having. And we try to work through their specific problems as much as possible. But this is exactly what you've got to do. You got to sit down and you got to educate people on. Sometimes you got to talk about like the system and the problems with the system of healthcare, which suck actually. I mean, it's terrible. But we have to be our own advocates, guys. So it's interesting. But when you guys watching me here, if you understand and you've been following me, you're part of a movement. I don't know if you guys know that, but you're part of a movement. And what we're doing is we're changing the face of healthcare, and we're challenging, and not to do it in a negative or a bad way, but we're challenging the healthcare system, and we're saying, hey, we want this new thing. we want this new opportunity to be healthy and not just manage disease. And the more of you guys that go out there and you say, hey, I want these people on my plan, and I want coverage for these tests that are considered preventative that help me investigate root drivers of my process instead of just trying to figure out how to better manage my disease. Sorry guys, did I lose you for a second? So anyway, this is like one of the things, you know what I mean? It's like, this is what we got to do, guys. We just got to take our health back, right? We've got to be our own advocates. We've got to... Seriously, we got to do this for us. You got to do this for your family. You just got to get your mind focused and say, it doesn't matter if I fail or what happens. I'm going to be focused on being healthy, and that's my goal, and that's how I'm going to serve. That's how I'm going to help myself. That's how I'm going to better serve and be a better provider, caretaker for my community, for my family. And you've got to be focused on just being healthy. Guys, if you don't take care of yourself, you can't take care of anyone else, right? You can't be productive. You can't achieve your hopes, your dreams, your wants, all the things that you would like to have. So that's why you have to think, like, what makes my heart beat heavy? Why do I want to be healthy? And you just dig in your heels and you say, this is my day, and I'm going to be healthy, and I'm going to do what it takes, and I don't care if I fail 50 times. I'm going to keep moving in that direction of health, and that's going to be my goal. And so guys, that's really, really important for you, right? To think about that and to change your perspective and do those things. That's huge. So as far as just, being your own advocate's huge. I mean, I feel like a broken record, guys. So I say a lot of the same things to you, and so I hope you don't, because I say this stuff so much. This is constantly what I'm teaching. You've got to have good reasons why you want to be healthy. You've got to come from the right place. I know a lot of you are like seriously mad and frustrated, and have lots of challenges, and you get no answers, and you feel frustrated with your doctors. And guys, all I can tell you is that they're really trying to help you. And I can relate. I understand a lot of where you're coming from. But this is why we're trying to do this. This is why I'm trying to do this, to teach you, give you some perspective on what's going on here, so that you can be your own advocate. Seriously, you've got to determine why you want to be healthy, and write down some good goals. And then, guys, start with making dietary changes if you haven't made them. And it's not always easy at first, but guys, once you start improving your health, it's worth it. I mean, just ask anyone that's changed their diet and has seriously improved their health. They will tell you that this is absolutely, it changed their entire life. So just decide that you're going to do it, and have powerful enough reasons so that in your moment of weakness you can go, damn it, I want to be able to walk. I want to be able to exercise. I want to be able to spend time with my family. I want to be able to go and play with my grandkids or my children. I want to be able to do the things that I want to do, and I want to be able to help others. I want to be able to give back and have those reasons. And then when you're in that moment of weakness and you think, you know what, you're I don't know, when you're driving down the road and you feel like pulling in and getting some donuts or whatever your weakness is, you're like, no. And you wake up and you remind yourself every day of why. I mean, these are some of the most basic, fundamental things that we got to talk about, because guys, you have to stay on track. You have to stay focused. If you don't stay focused, that's where it all comes apart. You come off the rails. So that's really, quite frankly, you ask anyone, it's one of the hardest things to do in the world is to be consistent. And just ask anyone, everyone, if consistency is a problem for you guys, give me a thumbs up, because I know that it can be challenging, right? So what you want to do is don't beat yourself up. Give yourself room to fail sometimes, and don't be too hard on yourself. Your internal self-speak and self-talk. Don't tear yourself apart. Yeah, I see bunches of thumbs because we're all thumbs up for consistency. If I could give you one too. Consistency is very difficult. But what you have to do is you set up rituals in your life, like reminding yourself, like I do. I use a 5-minute journal. Remind yourself, guys, every day. Remind yourself why you want to be healthy, why it's worth eating the way that you're doing, what you want to do with your life, what the things that you haven't done that you want to do, small or big. You just dream as big as you want to, but have reasons and remind yourself every day. Guys, I use the 5-minute journal. It's amazing. It's amazing. It's really, really helpful. But it's so good, guys. It's so within your grasp too. That's the thing. This health is within your grasp. And something that's really, really interesting that a lot of people don't realize is that a lot of times the changes only have to be simple. They don't have to be this complex, unobtainable thing that's like, oh, I've got to buy everything organic, and I've got to do all this stuff, and I've got to make all my food, and there's no way I can do it, and it seems overwhelming, right? It doesn't have to be that way, guys. You want to know, like, the best, so whole foods. If you just eat whole foods, and so nothing processed, right? Whole foods. If you just eat whole foods, ignore the whole organic and everything else. Just eat whole foods. Be a huge upgrade to most diets. Huge upgrade. Most people would feel dramatically better, right? Now, you do the pesticides and herbicides and hormones and everything that's used. If you can do organic, or get things that are not raised with those ingredients and things sprayed all over them that can damage your body's health, damage your gut bacteria, create a lot of problems, and that's better. That's better. But whole foods would be the first place to start. I mean, even if we're not talking like paleo diets or autoimmune or anything, just whole foods, period. And you would see dramatic differences. A lot of people would. That would be a great place to start, just eating whole foods, like not even worrying about organic and everything else. Guys, if you guys like this, and if you got some new people on here, please do share this video with others so that they have an opportunity to learn about this stuff too. Because a lot of people need to hear this message so that they can understand that they're not alone. They can understand that there are ways that they can get started to help themselves. So help us help other people. Let's help change the world. Let's help change the community. Let's improve people's health, and let's empower people to take their health back. Okay. Tammy, you can do it. Tammy says she's going to try and grow her own again. That's amazing, guys. One of the things I want to do this year is I want to do some like raised bed gardens, like some small ones. It's crazy, I just talked about consistency and follow through, and so I bought these books, and they're books on like gardening at home and organic gardens and raised beds, and I'm trying to figure out how to do it. My dad's gardened forever. My family's gardened, and they have my grandfather had several acres of land that he would plow and till, and they would plant they would plant every single year, and my dad's done it every year, so he knows how to do it. But I'm ignorant to gardening, but I want to do it because we could just do it in our backyard here, and it would be amazing, I think. You can definitely do it. Tammy says she's going to try to grow on again. I think so. Miriam says Pinterest has AIP recipes. Yeah, that's great. That's amazing. Hey, Susie, hope you're doing well. Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. And then Teresa says trial and error. She said that she's found that she does organic. Is that she has to do organic, or she almost gets immediately sick. Guys, if you have a farmer's market, or something near you where you can get food that was picked really quickly, you get it the day it was picked or very soon after picking, the food is still alive. Think about that for a second. Think about this for a second. Most of the food that we're getting from the grocery store, it might look good, but how long has it been picked off of the tree? And you think as soon as it was broken away from the tree, or it was pulled out of the ground, or it was cut, what happened? It started the process of decay and dying, right? So the longer it sits from the field to your plate or whatever, the more that it's dying and decaying, and the enzymes and the things that help break it down and absorb it and make it usable to your body are deteriorating and going away. So if you can get things that are close to you, or that you raise, you're going to have so much. There's so much more benefit that I think we don't understand yet with food that is living, that's picked right away and eaten right away. I think it's hugely beneficial. This stuff that's been essentially dying for, or dead for, dying and decaying for a week or 2 weeks. It's a different type of food than if you pick that same lettuce and you ate it that day. Hugely different. It's a big difference. Raised beds are easy for people with spine issues like myself. Yep, Tammy, that's exactly what I'm going to try to do. Square foot gardening is awesome. Karen, that sounds great. Teresa, almost feel defeated with it. Are you referring to the foods, like the foods and things that you're eating? Guys, the thing is diet is not going to be the answer for every single person. I'm just going to tell you, it's essential, but sometimes you change your diet to a diet that's supposed to be this great miraculous thing, and you feel worse, or you don't feel well. Well, that's a problem. That's a problem, and there's a reason for it. Guys, always listen to your body. Always listen to your body first and foremost. And if your body is not, if you're not responding to something, or you're feeling worse, there's a reason for it. Do not deny that. Do not keep doing something that makes you feel terrible. Now, there's a caveat here. If you're changing your diet in the first few days, sometimes you're withdrawing from things that are terrible for you, like caffeine, or maybe you have addictions to gluten because you metabolize it into gluteomorphine. Or maybe you have an addiction to dairy because you metabolize dairy casein into casomorphine. That's right. You've noticed the morphine compound. Those are very addictive compounds that you can be addicted to them and have withdrawal to it. So those are all things. If there's reasons, if you're not doing well with something, you've got to pay attention to what's happening to you and respect that, and try to investigate and determine why. Because there's not a one-size-fits-all diet, guys. Initially I was talking about the idea that autoimmune, paleo are reasonable types of diets as far as frameworks go. But when you look at people genetically, people that are closer to the equator have the closer you are to the equator, typically the more adapted your body and your genetics are going to be to metabolizing carbohydrates for energy. People that are closer to the poles, like Norwegians, for example, are going to be much more adapted genetically to metabolizing fat and proteins. And they're not going to do as well with carbohydrates because they have different productions of these different types of enzymes. So that's one thing to take into consideration. plus take, I mean, they're, the entire like paleo diets, right, were based off of a group of indigenous people that were, I can't remember the name of them, but they were the most, still like eating like their ancestors. They hadn't been influenced by modern man, and they'd investigated their gut bacteria and their microbiome, and it was very diverse. So they looked at them as like this caveman or Paleolithic type of hunter and gatherer type of society, and they looked at their diet and said, oh, this is the perfect diet. Well, not so fast. Not so fast. It might be a great diet for someone with that genetic makeup, but what about, and so these were more equatorial or closer to the equator, so they were more, their diet was 70% or so carbohydrate based. So if that's the case, I mean, you're looking at someone that's adapted to that type of diet. Well, that's not going to be the best diet for someone that's from Norway. I'm telling you right now, it's not going to be. So you've got to look at individual uniquenesses of the person, but as a framework, paleo-esque diets are pretty good. That's one of the reasons. Like, we've worked with tons of different diets, keto diets, diets to eliminate yeast, diets to all kinds of different types of mitochondria-specific diets to improve energy metabolism. And what it comes down to is really, you've got to kind of begin at the beginning. If you have gut issues, if you have inflammation, if you have blood sugar dysregulation, then typically you've got to start with a diet that helps to address those types of things. And if you're still eating the standard American diet, that's got to go first. First thing, like the standard processed foods, guys, that has to go right from the beginning. So, really, and that's an important thing to consider. Trying to think what else here. Oh, it's hot in here. And I know I gotta get to my workout too. I've got a split routine today. So I got in here initially because I want to talk to you guys for a few minutes. But hey, how you doing in the UK? We got people from all over the world here, guys. So please do chime in, questions, comments, post them. And if I can't answer you now, my staff and I will get back to you. Please do share this with people, guys, so that people around the world and all over can hear this message. It's really, really important that people understand diet's a great place to start. There's complexities to the reason that our healthcare systems aren't addressing and looking at our health from this perspective. It's not they're trying to be adversarial with you guys at all. It's just the system right now, and we have to work together as a community and a movement to change that. Okay. Okay, so I got in the sauna today because I was going to warm up for a few minutes and I want to talk to you guys. I'm getting ready to do a workout today from it's a world-renowned. I follow him extensively. If you guys are interested in exercise and fitness, there's a guy by the name of Charles Poliquin. Any of you guys know Charles Poliquin? Give me some thumbs up if you guys know Charles Poliquin. And if you don't, you got to Google him. He's called the Strength Sensei. He is amazing. He's I believe he's French Canadian, but he is the best when it comes to, in my opinion, my humble opinion, that he is the best when it comes to understanding strength training, exercise, and the chemistry and working to tailor a program for an individual. But I'm doing a routine. I'm following a routine of his that was designed by him. And so one of the things, he didn't tell me to get in the sauna, and actually I'm in the sauna to warm up my body temperature, because when your body temperature increases, your red blood cells can exchange oxygen and carbon dioxide better. So a warm up before a workout is not just to like loosen up the muscles or get the muscles moving. Okay, it's really one of the things is when you increase body temperature, you exchange oxygen and carbon dioxide much more efficiently. So I can deliver oxygen to my cells better, and I'll have a greater work capacity. The other thing is like, this is really not the only thing I've got to do. I actually have to do movement specific. When I get out of here, I'm going to do movement specific warm-ups. And the movements are, I'm going to be doing a back squat. I'm going to be doing leg curls. I'm going to be doing several full body movements. So before I actually do the exercise, I'm going to go through the movements, and I'll be actually without weight. And what I'll be doing is warming up my nervous system. And my nervous system, it's recruitment of the muscles that I'll be using, because I don't want to go out there with my heaviest weight and start doing the exercise. I'm actually going to improve my nervous system, recruitment of my muscles. I'm warmed up, my body temperature's high, I'm already sweating, so I'm going to be exchanging oxygen, so I should have a really good, effective workout once I get out there and get started. But I kind of digress, but that's why I got in here. Sauna, yes. Sauna's pretty good, Tammy. Saunas aren't bad. You've got to start slow. Everyone has a different tolerance to the saunas. They're fantastic at sweating out toxins. It's really, really a great thing. If you want to know someone that's amazing that does a great video on saunas, her name is Rhonda Patrick. Just Google Rhonda Patrick, PhD, and sauna, and she does 2 videos. She's brilliant and she's amazing, and her video will tell you everything you ever want to know about a sauna, and you'll want to find out how you can either get in one or buy one as soon as you hear what she has to say. It changes so many physiological processes. It is she references some studies that were done. It is amazing. So Rhonda Patrick, PhD. I think you can like find her on YouTube. It's like Found My Fitness. You'll love her. She's really good. You'll like her a lot. But Charles Poliquin is the man when it comes to understand exercise physiology, and like being on the leading edge of exercise science. You guys will like him a lot. Hey Tara, so she says she started Paleo AIP this week. She's struggling but determined. You can do it. Hang in there. Just know if you're having problems, the most common problems I see with AIP-esque diets is people aren't drinking enough water, they get constipated, or they go really, really low carb with it. They're not eating enough root vegetables, they're not getting enough carbohydrates in, and they tend to crash. Now, a lot of people, if you're really dependent upon coffee, like tremendously dependent upon coffee, and you cut it out, you'll just crash and you'll feel like you're dead no matter what you eat or do. So some of those people, what we'll do is we'll add in like temporarily add in potatoes or some kind of starchy carb to help bring their blood sugar up a bit, maybe for 6 weeks. Then we take it out and they do their diet for another 6 weeks. But you've got to, it's not just as easy as like, oh, I'm going to do this diet and it's going to be perfect for me. There are challenges for each individual person, okay? But you can do it. You can definitely do it. We have, so you guys know, probably know, we have the 6-week Hashimoto's Transformation Program, which is a diet. It's a lifestyle and recommendations program, and it also includes supplementation guidance, but we have a private Facebook group. So that Facebook group, we have a lot of people that are sharing all this stuff, and I live stream in there sometimes. I'm going to start doing a lot of live streams just for them so I can help them with a lot of their challenges. But this is, it's something that, guys, you can do. We've seen, you just name it. I mean, there's a lot of different problems that you can come up with, but constipation is a huge one with paleo because people remove all the grains. And so what you do, if you're having a problem with constipation, what you can do, is that Elena? I'm sorry, I hope I pronounced it correctly. You get to talk to me in 10 days. Can't wait to talk to you, Elena. That'll be awesome. Yeah, write down your questions that you have, Elena, and what we'll do is we'll go through them and I'll try to help you as much as I can. Tuscan, Audra says Tuscan is a natural sauna. It is, isn't it? But there you probably don't have the humidity, right? So you don't sweat as much. It's interesting in the deserts, you can be hot and actually losing tons of fluids, but it's just evaporating, right? It just goes away. So, kind of digress a little bit. Let's see. Rhonda Patrick. Okay, Rhonda Patrick, that's right. She's great. Charles Poliquin, guys. Awesome people. Awesome people you can follow to help improve your health. Yes, Miriam says, hey, I've started eating sardines due to my ancestry. Dudes, I love sardines. Guys, I love sardines. My son is 7, my daughter's 3, and both of them love sardines. Love sardines. You know, you're going to be like, you don't believe me. I should record a video of them like getting upset when I say, no, you can't have sardines every single day. And literally they pout and cry because they can't have sardines. Seriously, my kids love sardines. They're super good for you guys. Super good for you. Get them in olive oil. That's how I love them in olive oil. There's what's the brand I get? There's one brand I get in particular. It's I can't think of it. I'll have to post it later. But they're really, really good. You guys should love it. So, all right, guys. So here's the deal. You know, I gotta go. I stayed on here a lot longer than I thought I was going to. As always, I talk a ton. All right. So here's the deal, guys. I got to go. Please post your comments here so that I or my staff or some of us, we can respond back to you. Okay, so post your comments, your questions here. The other thing is, please do share this video with as many people as you can so that they can understand the challenges and that it doesn't have to be this complex, unbelievable thing. They can start simple, and sometimes that can make huge differences. Okay? And guys, I appreciate you. Thank you for all the thumbs up. Thank you for all the hearts. Thank you guys for supporting us. Thank you so much for being here and sharing this. And, I think you guys are helping us trend. So, what do you know? The guy that's in the sauna that looks completely unprofessional may actually have a message that people want to hear. That's an interesting thing. I have people that are so critical of like my videos that I do sometimes, and I just laugh because I really don't care. But I like to share with you guys because people are so they feel like if you're going to talk to them about health, sometimes you need to look a certain way or do a certain thing. I hate that. I hate the tie. I hate the suit. I hate putting on a facade to teach something that is not, it's not necessary, and I could care less. So yeah, there's some videos I do where I'm wearing like a t-shirt and I look like, I don't know. I just look, I look like, I don't look very professional at all. And this might not be very, very professional, but I don't really care because I'm here to teach what I think is the truth and help people to take their health back. And the people that want it, please take it. And the people that don't, I'm sorry, I'm not your guru. I'm not anyone's guru. I am just trying to help people help themselves. And I'm going to do it when it's convenient for me, and I'm me, and this is what I wear, and I hope it helps you guys. So I appreciate you guys. Thank you, Karen. I do. I am as real as I'm going to be, as real as I can be. This is just me, guys. So I appreciate you so much. If you need anything, thank you. Just let us know, and we will do everything we can to help you. Post questions, post comments here, and we will do our best to get back in here and respond to every one of you guys. If there's things you want to hear me talk about, post them in down here, and just have a wonderful, wonderful day. And remember, guys, it starts with just a decision. It starts with a decision to take your health back and say, you know what? This is my life, and no one's going to do this for me. I've got to be determined to be healthy, even in the face of adversity, even in the face of failure, even with all the challenges. This is my life, and I have to be responsible for myself, and I'm going to take that responsibility, and I'm going to keep learning. And guys, I'm going to help you as much as I can. Like, I'm going to tell you everything I can possibly tell you to do on these videos. And you can look back through any of the videos that we've done. You will find that I just try to give you as much as I can give you. So just please learn as much as you can. Let me know how much I can. Let us know how we can help you. We will do everything we can, and just try to stay as positive as possible. Hey guys, Dr. Shook, thank you for viewing our videos. I hope they help you out. If you want to, just subscribe to our channel somewhere here. You can watch a video that YouTube's actually selected for you, so hopefully it'll help you out. If you need any other information or resources, just look in the description. We've got links to our website, to our 9 lab test guidebook, and everything else that we do. I really appreciate you, and I hope you guys have a great